Ahead and open this public hearing. I'll do so by first reading the announcement, which was posted in the recorder and also at each of the town halls in Montague, Shelburne, Buckland, and Greenfield. So the City of Greenfield, through the Community and Economic Development Department, are holding a public hearing on Wednesday, May 13th at 10:00 a.m. Information is provided on how to join via WebEx or how to join via phone. At the moment, we have 5 participants that include MJ Adams, City of Greenfield, Lindsay Rowe, City of Greenfield, Heather Butler, Town of Buckland, Linda Overing, consultant for the Town of Buckland and Shelburne, and Walter Ramsey, Town of Montague. Correct? Is there anyone else on the line? Okay, hearing none. The purpose of this hearing is to discuss a modification of the existing 4-town revolving loan fund, which was funded by the City of Greenfield's previous CDBG programs. The CDBG funds were used to establish a revolving loan fund for businesses located in Greenfield, Montague, Buckland, and Shelburne. The 4-town loan fund has been administered by the Franklin County Community Development Corporation. With the COVID-19 pandemic, Greenfield, as the administrator of the original grant, is seeking to modify the revolving loan fund's allowable activities to include loans to micro-enterprises and to create provisions for loans to be forgiven. You wanted to see our website, the City of Greenfield Community and Economic Development Department website. You can see that for additional information. Any person or organization present will be given the opportunity to comment at the hearing. The city will make every attempt to provide interpretive and translation services if necessary with advance request. We did not receive any. Comments may be submitted in writing or by email to Lindsay Rowe at lindsay.rowe@greenfieldmass.gov to be received by 5 p.m. today, May 13th, 2020. Okay, so just to give you a little background on the 4-town loan fund, it was established around the year 2000 with some community development block grant funds. The Franklin County Community Development Corporation has been running it over the past 20 odd years. They have issued out about 58 loans over the course of that time. Over the course of the years, close to 1.4 million that's been lent out, paid back, and lent out again. With that, there is a standing balance in the bank account that's available in the amount of $60,227. We are proposing to take $60,000 of that revolving loan fund balance that's available at the moment and making that available to the 4 communities in concert with other funding that they might be receiving from CDBG, either from existing grants or from new grants that might be made available through the CDBG CARES Act. So that said, I'm willing to provide any additional detail that I can. I can speak specifically on how Greenfield intends to use its share. Let me also say that since the City of Greenfield is the lead grantee in establishing this grant way back when, that the city will cover the cost of administering the loan services out of this $60,000 with our Community Development Block Grant Program funds. So the full $60,000 will be made available out to the communities with the admin costs covered by the City of Greenfield. So the City of Greenfield, we just launched our micro enterprise program earlier this week. Applications open at noon. Just to give you a little definition of how we are using those funds, they are for for-profit businesses that have been open. Were opened before September 10th of 2019 and remained open through early March of 2020. We are looking to assist initially businesses that have 5 or fewer employees, and one of those employees must be the owner of the business. The owner of the business must be income eligible, and that means earning less than 80% of the HUD median income. We are requiring that to be eligible, the micro enterprises that are applying in Greenfield have an annual sales of greater than $20,000 per year. We are looking to assist businesses that are open, even though they might be open on a limited basis, or they're intending to reopen as the economy reopens, is allowed to reopen under the governor's guidelines. And we are offering a preference for bricks and mortar operations in terms of receiving the funds. They can receive up to $5,000 in funding in a forgivable loan. The $5,000 we will be looking to provide to them so that it can help cover expenses for the next 3 months. We do not allow any duplication of benefits. So if they have the Paycheck Protection Program or if they're receiving unemployment, we will not pay for costs that are covered by other programs. At the end of 3 months and before the end of the 4th month, they need to document that they spent their funds in line with the budget that they had submitted in their application. And at that point, and make a certification that there's no duplication of benefits. And at that point, we will then transition their loan to a grant. It will become forgiven. The loan will be forgiven and it will become a grant. There will be no ongoing monitoring or responsibilities for the business after the loan is converted to a grant. We are also planning some other small business assistance programs once we get additional guidance from the state and from HUD in terms of new funding that might become available. We also have an application in, as does Montague, to the Attorney General's Office Small Business Assistance Program, which might provide some additional funding that is not tied to the income eligibility of the business owner. That's it in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to make any comments about it? Stop smirking a little bit.
Is that a smirk?
It's a little bit of a smirk.
Yes, and Heather, yes.
Would this work for a business in Buckland? What do I need to do? What do the businesses need to do? I guess, what are my next steps?
My understanding is that you are working with Breezeway Farm and that they are working to create this micro enterprise or small business assistance program with your existing CDBG funds or some potential CDBG funds, and that that your businesses should apply through whoever your consultant sets up the management with. We are engaging the Franklin County CDC to do. We're engaging the Franklin County CDC to do both Greenfield's administration and also the Four-Town Loan Fund. They currently administer the Four-Town Loan Fund, so they will be applying to the CDC through your town program. Melinda, this is a good thing to talk through because I don't know what you've been having in terms of conversations with the town.
So, right, Buckland and Shelburne are managing this differently because Buckland at this point does not have any surplus to contribute to a standalone microenterprise support program, unlike Shelburne does. They're pursuing that through their existing CDBG. So Buckland, I believe, the Buckland businesses would be looking to this Four-Town Loan Fund new program for microenterprise support immediately, as I guess there's their option. So it would be whatever process you believe the Four-Town Loan Fund is going to be using to accept applications from the 4 towns. And I believe Heather was discussing an option that Buckland had some non-CDBG funds, town funds that they would like to consider contributing to the four-town trust fund to be managed along with the funds that you already have.
So I can confirm that yes, my select board has committed an additional $15,000 in town funds to contribute to the four-town loan program for distribution to Buckland businesses as they apply. So my question is, how do I get those funds? What's the appropriate mechanism to get the funds for town loan program? And then I guess more importantly, how do I let businesses know that it's available and when can they start applying?
Okay, can I first ask, what's the source of those funds, Heather?
CDBG matching funds. So
It's a town appropriation.
Yeah, every year we make a general appropriation to a CDBG matching fund line item. It's money that we use in the event that we need to supplement work that Linda does or supplement work that the engineers do, or you have a change in the middle of a project. We make sure we have a small amount of funds available to support CDBG. We do have a balance in that line item that we feel comfortable taking the $15,000 and applying it towards the program.
The only thing I'm raising a concern about here is the anti-aid amendment. So
With that,
your finance director, there's a state law. Lindsay, you can help me on this. I think you know about it more than I do. That says that you can't use generally appropriated funds from taxpayers to benefit private individuals. Lindsay, do you know the details on that?
Yes, but because this is an application process, there might be, I don't want to speak directly to the legality of that piece, and I think that that's just a question to raise to your town, and but to discuss the anti-aid amendment is a good point, but I think that there is something, because of the way in this, which is competitive, I think that changes it a little, but you should probably have that conversation.
Okay. All right. So, but your point there, Heather, in terms of how Buckland businesses get access to these funds, I will say for the 15,000 that is currently sort of sitting in the four-town loan fund that we've earmarked for Buckland businesses, if your Board of Selectmen want them to go directly to the CDC, the Franklin County CDC, and review and approve in line with the Greenfield guidelines, we're happy to accommodate that.
I think that would be absolutely ideal. I certainly don't have the wherewithal to take this on and manage it in an appropriate way. I know that if there's a mechanism and a process in place that's simply just efficient and good business, and I am happy to share that. Going back to the grant fund match, we do have an alternative source. MJ, I've been in email communication with you about it. It's the Housing Authority money that we have received back. It's our intention, and I guess I'm just going to, Lindsay, I'm going to throw this out to you as well. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your help here. It's our intention to use money from that fund to backfill these general funds, but we have to have a town meeting vote to do so. So we're understanding that we use those housing authority monies. I've spoken with Linda. She's confirmed that HUD has made it up to the discretion of the town how to use those funds. We feel it's best to take that literally and say at the discretion of the town, at the discretion of town meeting. We have a town meeting June 28th. It would be the intention to move to, through town meeting vote, to move $50,000 from that account back to the CDBG grant match, making that account whole. So I'm hearing what you're saying about the fine line there, but I think ultimately this would shake out appropriately. I'm happy to have town council review it. But I guess that in the short term, to get the money out to the people that need it, to the businesses that are looking for it, that's why we're choosing the grant match as our initial source. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what I can say is for the first 15,000 in the four-town loan fund, that will be, we'll handle that without any concerns. But you got some, if you want to put additional money into that program, we're going to have to discuss a little about how that's going to work, just so everyone's clear about how that works. Also, I'll just share with you that there might be some administrative costs above and beyond that first 15,000 that's earmarked for Buckland if you put additional money into the pot. Okay. But
MJ, I have a question when we get a chance.
sure. I want to make sure I'm done with Heather. Are we clear on that, Heather? Are we all set on that?
So what you're saying is that if Buckland contributes additional funds, we may be on the hook for the administration of those additional funds.
Yeah, and I'll share with you that we are paying the CDC approximately 10% of the loan amount for closed loans.
Okay.
So an additional 15,000 put into that four-town loan fund for Buckland would be about another 1,500 for the CDC for admin. Yeah, just to give you a sense.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, and in the interim, if you want to sign on to Greenfield's program guidelines that exist right now for our micro enterprise, I just need some sort of written confirmation from your select board that's what you want to do, and we'll go ahead and find a way to advertise that Buckland businesses can do that. Once we just have to maneuver a couple of final approvals on this, and then we'll launch this other piece, the four-town loan fund COVID recovery, but that will be fine.
Okay, so if I pull minutes from the meeting where they approve this, would that suffice?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah.
Heather, I put a link to the City of Natick's thing about what the anti-aid amendment, which might provide a little additional information for you on that. So I put that link into the chat for that. If you
I
can
see that. Thank you. I'll take a look at that after the meeting.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes, Walter.
Yeah, could you just clarify? So this 60,000 in the four-town loan fund, this is going to be designated for micro enterprise. At least that's what Greenfield's doing, and we're hoping that all four communities will kind of sign on to your guidance. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so the additional funds that you're reprogramming, which I believe is for the current round you're advertising, that's for small business relief, not micro enterprise. Is that correct?
At the moment, the only thing that we're making available is micro enterprise because we are waiting for guidance from DHCD and HUD about assisting businesses that are larger than 5 employees. At the moment, because the Federal Register hasn't been released, giving or identifying what flexibility and waivers they will allow, HUD will allow, there is a job creation or retention requirement for small business assistance that is quite onerous. And so we are waiting for the Federal Register publication before we understand whether or not we will, or what our small business programs will look like. I would say
great.
At the moment, the initial thing is to get the money for the micro enterprise out into the community. So that's what we're focusing on.
Okay, so the round that you're opening up today, is that going to be coming from the four-town loan fund?
That's no, because I don't have approval to spend the four-town loan fund yet. what I'm opening up today is our fiscal year, our CDBG 19 money that I have a budget approval from DHCD on.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies for me. Yeah, I'd go on record for the town of Montague that we support this change that you're proposing, and yeah, we hope to have the board adopt the Greenfield regulations. We'll probably give you some paperwork for that on early next week.
That sounds great. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you, MJ. And we appreciate Greenfield taking the lead on this and covering the administrative costs.
Yeah. Well, I think it's in all of our interests. We're a small region, and we're all in it together.
Thank you.
Sure. Is there anyone on the line from Shelburne?
I don't count officials on the line, MJ.
Okay. But Linda, can you secure for us some sort of written confirmation that they're okay with what we're proposing here?
Yes.
And that is
I will.
either if they're not going to set up their own, that we go ahead and follow the Greenfield guidelines on the micro enterprise.
So we're going to be doing both. We're going to follow. We're going to support. I believe support what you're trying to do with Fort Town Trust.
Okay.
And then they will also be setting up a separate program using their FY18 CDBG funds.
Excellent. Okay, great. Are there any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close this meeting. Thank you all.